liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that. Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community? Why? Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that. Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community? Why? Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that. Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community? Why? Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that. Why is it that there's a gun shop on almost every corner in this community? Why? Tell you why. For the same reason that there's a liquor store on almost every corner in the black community. Why? They want us to kill ourselves. You go out to Beverly Hills, you don't see that.
Hey everybody, it is your girl Nessa with This Is Insane. I hope everybody is doing well today and hope you guys can hear me out there. I am really honestly not okay. I'm going to say this. I have not had any sleep. I am exhausted. Putting together this was extremely difficult. I didn't really realize, I thought that, okay, I can put these clips together, I can do a little research, and I can actually just kind of, just get it together. But this was extremely emotional. Whew, child, this was emotional. And I have so many clips, but I know that I can't show everything. But we will be doing a series kind of like how we did the team takeover. So this is going to be called the Unspoken Epidemic, Protect Black Women. And this is episode 1 of this series. And it was just even in May 2023, it was so many situations with domestic violence and women, being unalived at the hands of their lovers or sibling rivalries where women was being unalived, deleted by their flesh and blood. just it was a lot, and it was really emotional, but it was something that has been in my heart to do because of the fact that this is we need to share light on this. And like I said, it says unspoken epidemic for a reason. um this needs to be discussed, it needs to be talked about. And I just want to send my condolences out to everybody's I have 10 clips that I'm showing. Each week it's going to be 10 clips. Some recent, some not, but it's all about the situation, and kind of like just trying to shed light on it, but also things that we can do better as women to protect ourselves, to protect, our the children, or anybody that's involved. Um, so I just wanted to like share some light on these stories. And please, no victim shaming, no, if you decide to leave comments, don't put what that person should have done or anything like that. It's not about that. It's just about men, like really strong, good, confident men, uh who actually want to take the time to watch these clips, and women out there who want to find a way to be able to, if you are in situations, to be able to see it from a different viewpoint and see what you need to do to get out. Or women who have never been in these situations, to it's for you also to see how you can continue to keep yourself safe and protected. And some of these women been with their men for 10, 12, 11 years. You don't know what's going on in a person's mind. You don't, far as some of the domestic situations. And then even family members, you've been knowing all your life. You don't know what's going on with them in their mind. Um, and I know y'all don't want to hear this, but being spiritually grounded and praying and making sure that you pray for the spirit of discernment is important, and that's for men and women to know. um you can feel vibes, you could feel when something not right. You, whether it's a family member, whether it's a stranger you're passing, whether it's just like a boyfriend or whoever it may be, husband. You could feel when something not right if you become more aware spiritually. And not always, sometimes it is what it is, but I definitely want to put the disclaimer out there that um all of these, this is pretty much information that is from the news. And also, I want to give credit and shout out to Black Girl Unlost, Leah Gordon. Those are both of her pages, as well as Twisted Crimes. And if you are interested in following them and, kind of like doing research or just checking out other clips that they have on their pages, YouTube pages, the links are in my on my YouTube page. So please make sure you go check them out. And I I'm just going to be doing these randomly, and I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of uh the series, kind of like the team takeover, where we will not be going by time. So I don't care how long these clips take, which I did try to respectfully make sure that they're under 15 minutes per clip, but it does not matter. These clips are important to see, and we could watch a show with no substance for an hour or 2 hours. We can watch something that we can learn from for an hour or 2 hours. That's how I feel. Man, woman, child. Well, I really feel like, you know, these clips can be seen by young adults to, you know, like have those conversations with, with your children if needed, but definitely edit them or stop in some, you know, in between some things, because not everything that you see today will be, I don't want to say wholesome, but will be, for the well-being of a young adult as they're growing up and going through like changes in life. We don't want to trigger them either. But okay, so, and let me show you my shirt. So I'm chilling today. So guys, don't be hating, and not hating, but yeah, hating, because don't be in my comments talking about I'm bummy or nothing. But I put on I just got on some gray sweatpants, and I got my Breonna Taylor t-shirt. For anybody that has a Breonna Taylor t-shirt, please wear it for the rest of this week, just, in solidarity. That would be great. But I know enough about me. Y'all here for one thing, and that's to get some information and, and talk about like what's happening with our sisters out here, in hopes that, this doesn't happen to, you know, us or anyone that we're closest to. So let's get started. Shall we? Let's I can't remember which clip is first, so I'm just going to start it and then we'll take it from there.
This whole community should be grieving for DeShayla Ferguson and her family and her unborn baby. You heard me say time and time again that no one gets into this profession to arrest kids, especially for low-level offenses, but that's not the case here. We have to acknowledge that someone who amasses this many charges and is responsible for the of 2 women and an unborn child needs to be behind bars for a very, very long time.
2 weeks ago, we shared the story of DeShayla Ferguson. Her missing flyers were spread in August after Orlando police said the then 15-year-old was reported missing. According to reports, DeShayla ran away the day before she was supposed to appear in court for a human trafficking case.
August 12th. Orlando police respond to this Department of Children and Families office on South Kirkman Road, where a worker reports 16-year-old DeShayla Ferguson missing. The police report says she was brought there to be given a family placement for the night as she had to appear in court the next day. She was involved.
Okay, so yes, this one is about DeShayla Ferguson and her situation as we move forward. She actually was trafficked before. So she had already suffered through that as a teenager. And she was 17 years old and pregnant, and then wind up becoming unalived by I think somebody she knew. So that's the story behind this. Okay.
In a human trafficking case in Orange County. They said she became argumentative and left. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children created this release with Ferguson's picture on it, yet she remained missing for 73 days. October 24th, Orange County Sheriff's investigators say they found Ferguson dead next to a car on Broken Pine Circle, 7 miles away from where she went missing. A week and a half later, the same day, Ferguson's father provided this new picture of his daughter. News 6 confirmed the 16-year-old was pregnant.
The office still haven't made any further comments regarding her allegedly escaping custody. However, recent updates shared that DeShayla's disappearance had nothing to do with the trafficking case. This week, Sheriff John Mina announced the Orange County Sheriff's Office had arrested 17-year-old Lorenzo Larry on charges of second-degree murder.
Just gonna go to the back over here, right?
Want to spread your feet for me?
Spread your feet for me. Okay, take a seat. That's it. Appreciate it.
After a thorough investigation, police revealed Lorenzo Larry had murdered DeShayla Ferguson and her unborn child. DeShayla was 20 weeks pregnant when she died.
Morning. On Monday afternoon, yesterday, our deputies arrested 17-year-old Lorenzo Larry on charges of second-degree murder. So it's been reported by some that this case may have been related to human trafficking. That's not true. There is no nexus to human trafficking in this case.
Police also revealed Larry was responsible for the death of another woman named Jamil Pittman. Last December, she was found shot in her car.
New at noon, we now know the name of the woman found shot inside of a car in Orange County. We first brought you this story as breaking news on News 6 at 5 yesterday. Deputies saying 23-year-old Jamil Pittman was found in a car in the area of Rio Grande Avenue and Brindley Court just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Paramedics rushed her to the hospital where she died. So far, deputies haven't said anything about a possible suspect.
That's not the only time Larry has been in trouble. However, every time he has been arrested, he's either been able to escape their custody or his case was dropped.
Lorenzo Larry is no stranger to law enforcement, nor is he a stranger to our homicide detectives. In February of 2021, when he was just 15 years old, he was arrested for carrying a concealed firearm, as well as violation of home detention, both of which are felonies. Those cases were dropped. On December 8th, 2021, 23-year-old Jamil Pittman was found dead in a car off of South Rio Grande Avenue. During their investigation, our homicide detectives identified Lorenzo Larry as the suspect in this case. He had fled the area. We were unable to find him, and then he was arrested again in May on another slew of charges. At that time, we were able to interview him. He admitted to shooting Jamil, but claimed it was self-defense, although he fled the scene and fled to another state. So in those cases where the suspect claims self-defense, we work closely with our state attorney's office. We give them our investigative report for them to review so they can make a determination on that case. That was done back in July, and the state attorney's office has not made a determination in that case as of yet. And then Lorenzo Larry was again arrested in July, and both that case and the May case are set for trial. So we do anticipate the state attorney's office will charge him as an adult for the second-degree murder charge of DeShayla Ferguson and her unborn child. So you have heard me say time and time again that no one gets into this profession to arrest kids, especially for low-level offenses, but that's not the case here. And so those juveniles who are out there committing violent crimes in our community, that doesn't apply to them. So, we have to acknowledge that someone who amasses this many.
Larry is also facing charges of harming the unborn child by injury to DeShayla. Also, the family created a GoFundMe campaign to pay for DeShayla and the baby's memorial services. They are asking the community for help to send off their loved ones.
Sorry, my mic was muted. With this story, it's just really sad because of the fact that she is so young. I mean, it's a lot of them that's extremely young, but this was really one of the ones that was hard because of the fact that I feel like as a village, we failed her, and for sure we failed him as well. But this, like, I don't understand. Like, we keep trying to say we can't blame the parents, but who can we blame then? Those, like, the parents are the ones who have the first impression on their children before they even get out into the world. So, um, yeah, we constantly blame circumstances and environments, but like I said, the children, the parents actually are the ones that have the first influence on their children, so that's where it starts. You can't, kind of like, you can't pacify and be around your child 24/7, which is correct. However, the major things, they're lacking the major components of values and and morals when it comes to being a young, teenager. So that's a problem because if nothing else, those need to be instilled. But I'm not going to be preaching. I just wanted to get that out because let's see if I can pull it up. So yeah, I think I can. I want to share on my screen some statistics, so that you can see that this is an epidemic. As I said, right here it shows Black women and girls had the second highest homicide rate increase from 2019 to 2020. All right. Homicides per 100,000 in 2020. Look at this percentage change from 2019. Males homicide 100,000 in 2020 and their percentage change. But like, this is high. What is happening? Like, this is way too high. And the number one thing that and keep in mind, this is not as high as you think because of the fact that they are still considered a majority. So honestly, we're not even second anymore. I think it's more of the Latin community that is second when it comes to uh being a second majority. So these rates is incredibly crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, incredibly crazy. And then I wanted to show this too. Well, this is the offender's relationship to the victim as an intimate partner, family, neighbor, and then now unknown. That just shows that we're not protected. 45% people just feel like they can do whatever because of the fact that we are not protected. As I have said, this is someone that actually was killed in my home state, Ann Arbor, Michigan. But this is also what I wanted to show you. Where Black women and girls have the highest homicide rates. Wisconsin. That's crazy. Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas. We gonna do top 10. DC, Indiana, Ohio, Louisiana, Michigan, and Illinois. The top 10 has most of the Midwest states. Majority of Midwest is in the top 10. Justice for Brianna. Yo, this is crazy. Like, seriously. We have, I know I got my little Catwoman glasses on, y'all, but numbers don't lie. People do. Okay. This next one is, I think her name is Natisha Lattimore. And, you know what's so sad about this is because of the fact that she was dating a younger man, and she seemed like such a beautiful woman. I do believe that this is the one because it's not showing me my, my titles, and I actually did have them all titled. But she was dating a younger man. She had a son, I do believe, and she wind up getting pregnant by the guy she was dating. And I guess he was excited, happy, or whatever, but then she miscarried, and he got extremely upset, and so he unalived her. And yes, I have to say these words because I am on YouTube, and and Facebook been acting funny lately with me too. So I'm just trying to make sure I be cautious because if anything, I do want this message to get across to people. Okay, this is an important message, important series, especially me being a Black woman. So yeah, this hits different. But we're gonna check out her story, okay? All right. And sometimes I just won't be in the frame because I want you to actually get the full body, I want you to get the full like video so that you can kind of see what I seen when I was watching these. Okay? All right.
What is the address of your emergency?
I found a dead body.
That's the voice of a security guard working at a
Police are conducting a death investigation in Roseland. They say a woman's body was found in a car near 94th and LaSalle yesterday morning. It could be
People Bridge
Something
December
just
12th.
happened.
It's the night he unknowingly spotted 29-year-old Natisha Lattimore's body.
Somebody threw a bag like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me. So I got up there and knocked it down, and it was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag.
The guard told a dispatcher he first thought it was Halloween props, but one touch and he knew it was real. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters says Lattimore's boyfriend, 21-year-old Deshaun Brown, stabbed her to death and left her in her Walnut Hills apartment 5 days. Investigators say Brown barbarically killed her 3-year-old son Nilo, throwing him into the river while alive. Now, I talked to that security guard tonight. He told me that he did see a man on the bridge that night, but he was walking toward him and he didn't want any trouble, so the security guard said he went back to his vehicle to avoid a confrontation or any kind of issues, and he never saw that man again.
Deshaun Brown deserves nothing less than the death penalty. That's exactly what you deserve. No mercy at all.
This is the story of Natisha Lattimore, a 29-year-old mother of a 3-year-old, whose 20-year-old boyfriend stabbed her to death, then threw her 3-year-old in the river alive, because he believed that when she miscarried with their child, she did it on purpose to get rid of his baby, so he got rid of hers. Facing the man who killed his 3-year-old son in court would be too much for Nilo's biological father to bear, and what he will do to his son's killer will land him in jail. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati is a city located in the southwestern part of Ohio. It is known for its rolling hills, thriving arts, cultural scene, and rich history. The city is home to several major institutions, including the University of Cincinnati and Procter & Gamble, and has a vibrant business community. The city boasts stunning architecture, beautiful parks, and exciting events and festivals. The year is 2020, and 29-year-old Nightisha Lattimore was optimistic about what the future had to offer. Like many individuals across the world, she faced difficulties arising from the pandemic, but her Facebook posts from that year portrayed a woman on the rise. She posted, "I got accepted into college, now I will be getting my schedule to start college in January to become a medical assistant." Despite overcoming personal challenges in the past, Nightisha appeared focused and motivated with two main priorities: her 3-year-old son, Nilo, from a previous relationship, and her goal to become a medical assistant. Nilo was the center of Nightisha's world, and her posts often reflected the joy she felt watching him learn and grow. She eagerly awaited his start at preschool and believed that 2021 would bring new opportunities, including starting a college program to become a medical assistant in January and obtaining a driver's license and car. Sadly, the year 2020 marked the final chapter in Nightisha's life. She never had the chance to see her aspirations come to fruition, as she was found deceased on December 12, 2020, near the Purple People Bridge in Cincinnati. Nightisha was recently in a relationship with a 20-year-old man by the name of Deshaun Brown.
Everything I own and I'm home, man. I feel good, you hear me? Just touched down, yeah. A lot of it ain't land neither, yeah.
On a Facebook Live video he posted, he could be seen with her son Nilo, with Nightisha in the background. At some point in the relationship, Nightisha became pregnant with Deshaun Brown's kid, but she later miscarried. Brown was furious with Nightisha and believed she murdered his child, so he planned to cause harm to Nightisha and her son Nilo. On December 5, 2020, Brown fatally stabbed Nightisha inside her house. It wasn't until December 12 that a security officer spotted her body on Pete Rose Way in Cincinnati's downtown area. Brown left her body unattended at her apartment for at least 5 days before he removed it using a body bag that he purchased on eBay. Security footage taken on December 11, 2020, shows Brown carrying Nightisha's body in a body bag along a corridor in her Walnut Hills apartment complex. Brown reportedly used an Uber to dispose of her body. Investigators reported that Brown's phone records showed that he researched bridges, cleaning supplies, and body bags in Cincinnati. Brown confessed to authorities that he threw Nightisha's 3-year-old son Nilo into the Ohio River while he was still alive. His remains were never discovered. Authorities said that Deshaun Brown murdered Nightisha Lattimore on December 5, 2020. The next day, on December 6, he tossed Nightisha's son Nilo into the river alive. 5 days later on December 11, Brown visits the Purple People Bridge holding Nightisha's body in a body bag. He then dumps her body in the river. The next day authorities discover Nightisha's body on December 12, 2020. Nilo's blood was found on a Paw Patrol blanket that was recovered with Nightisha Lattimore's body, which indicated that he suffered some injuries before being thrown into the river. On December 13, Nilo's stroller was discovered in the river. It is believed that after Brown murdered Nightisha and her body was still in the apartment, he used her phone to make posts and reply to people on her Facebook account to make it appear that she was still alive. One post, dated December 5, the day Nightisha was killed, read, "I love him forever, Deshaun Brown." He would also go on to post more videos on his own Facebook, as if nothing happened. More of the same videos where he is usually seen smoking and dancing around with a weapon in his hand.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in
The toddler stroller was also found by the Ohio River. Dieter says they believe Brown threw the boy in alive.
It's a gruesome case. I cannot even imagine what that little boy was going through.
Prosecutors say Brown stabbed Nitisha Lattimore to death December 5th in her Walnut Hills apartment. They believe her body was left there for 6 days.
And at some point, he purchased a body bag after that from eBay.
Dieter says this is the bag. Out of respect for the family, we're not showing another photo, which Dieter says shows Brown carrying Nitisha's body in that bag wrapped in a blanket. Investigators say he took an Uber to the Purple People Bridge to dispose of the body, telling the driver the bundle was full of clothes.
He knew he was going to kill her for 2 months. I mean, this was a very premeditated murder.
Her body was found December 12th. Despite exhaustive search efforts, Nilo has not been recovered.
And they're still looking for Nilo, but it's pretty clear that he died a miserable death.
That's why I hate muting myself, but I don't want y'all to hear background chatter or noise either. But I'm just talking. But no, what I was saying was that this one was really rough. I stopped it because they just was going on and on about the same situation. But I just wanted you guys to see and understand how this young man was so unhinged. And anybody that premeditates to that level and for like 2 months kind of already having a mind what they gonna do, all while still being in a relationship with someone, that is past like psychotic. That is like, that's a monster. And I don't know, it's just like her personality and her ambition and her goals and the different things that she seemed to have wanted out of life and how she seemed to have loved her child. um I just want you to see that, and I want young women to understand that, you could kind of tell like he was crazy. Okay, y'all, please, young women, don't be going for the bad boys all the time, the ones that is living on the edge and got them crazy eyes. It's not worth it. Like, especially if that's not where you, like, if you're, I don't know where she's from, but if you have like ambitious goals in life and you know that your personality or your values is totally not aligned, don't even give it any play. I think that he knew that it's no excuse for anything that he's done, but I think that he knew that he probably couldn't get anybody else like her, because she seemed to be a special, beautiful woman. And he is one of them ones that if I can't have you, nobody will. You could tell. And for him to be upset at something that she can't control and unalive her because of it, that's crazy to me. All right. Well, this next clip, honestly, is just a very small clip about something that's happening recently in Chicago. A young lady by the name Marina Baker, uh, I guess last week sometime, she had she came up missing, and she was supposed to go to her daughter's graduation. She was supposed to pick up her son, and she had different things that she was supposed to do, and so people knew that this not like her, something is not right. And so this is an update on that story, because it's a new story that actually is still kind of progressing. So the update is that they found her vehicle, I think with her in it, in the trunk, in the Roseland area in Chicago. And we'll check that out.
A death investigation in Roseland. They say a woman's body was found in a car near 94th and LaSalle yesterday morning. It could be connected to the case of a missing Roseland mother. Our crews on the scene saw police tape blocking off the vacant lot where the car was found. We also spoke with neighbors. They gave us this photo of the car. It matches the description of the vehicle that relatives of 39-year-old Rena Baker say she was driving when she was last seen. Baker's family says she's been missing since last Wednesday. Neighbors say the car had been in the lot, was in the lot since last Thursday, we should say. One woman tells us she made a report to 311 on Saturday about the abandoned vehicle. Then yesterday, police say a woman's body was found in the driver's seat of the car. An autopsy is now pending.
Okay, so and my condolences to, like I said before, to everybody's family, friends, loved ones. These stories are very sad, and they're happening way more than usual, like throughout the years. And as you've seen the statistics, which I will show again before I actually close out the show, please be mindful of like the areas I also show, because the top 10, majority of the states are in the Midwest region. So that just shows you right there that that's bad, and it, like I just don't understand, but we'll just continue because I don't want to keep talking too much. Okay, so the next one is Elena Sims. Now, Elena, this story right here, this guy that she was a teen, I think maybe 19, and she was in love with someone he was a rapper, and she wind up having she was pregnant by him, and he wind up murdering two men, or unaliving, deleting two men in a recording studio, and he wind up getting off. But then I'll let you see the rest of the story. This is crazy.
A lot. He was her everything. So the memories I would have is just joyful moments that she had with her son.
Ilana Sims, a devoted mother to a 1-year-old who was 5 months pregnant with her second child, received an invitation from her boyfriend, Billy Adams, a Tampa rapper who goes by the name Ace NH, to celebrate his acquittal for a double murder charge just 3 days prior. Little did she know, what was supposed to be an evening of celebration with her boyfriend would instead turn out to be a trap that would claim her life. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Tampa, Florida. 22-year-old Ilana Sims was born and raised in Tampa. She was the middle of 3 sisters and was described as humble, caring and lovable. She was known as a happy and peaceful person who didn't like to argue. According to her mother, she would do anything for you and would always go out of her way for her loved ones. She graduated from Chamberlain High School and was the mother to a 1-year-old son. Ilana loved being a mother. After having her child, she no longer went to clubs or bars. She just loved spending time with her son. She would later be expecting her second child and was 5 months pregnant. Ilana was seeing 25-year-old Billy Bennett Adams III. Billy was a semi-professional rapper known as Ace NH, and it is reported that he is a member of the Crips criminal organization. Billy was born in Virginia and raised in Georgia. However, he relocated to Tampa Bay, Florida in 2017. He graduated from the University of South Florida with a bachelor's degree in science and management. However, Billy's desire was to focus on his rap career and would often rap about street life and glorify violence in his music.
You put me on any beat, I'm guaranteed to spaz out. I make money in any condition, I'm a cash cow. Skip the line ahead of you, nigga. I took the fast route. I did what they couldn't do, probably why they so mad now. And I keep it solid, start to finish, put my heart up in it, and I'm dope just like what you and they can't.
According to Daniel Thompson, he claimed he overheard the two. On February 19, 2020, he was at a recording studio of a friend, Joseph Meeks, when he shot and killed two other individuals who were also using the studio at the time. The men were Traven Alberry and Daniel Thompson. He claimed he overheard the two men talking about robbing Billy's friend, Joseph, the owner of the studio. After killing the two men, he fled the scene, leaving his friend Joseph Meeks with the two bodies. Joseph, unaware of what just happened, was shocked and horrified by witnessing the two men executed. He then dialed 911. Billy was arrested and charged with the murder of the two men. Billy defended himself against these charges for nearly 3 years, consistently maintaining his self-defense narrative. However, the circumstances surrounding the shooting contradicted the principles of self-defense. Traven and Daniel were both shot in the back of the head, resembling an execution-style scenario rather than a self-defense situation. It is believed that Billy had some sort of beef with the two men over weapons and money, which was reported by a witness, but the prosecution was not able to prove this. Billy took the stand in his defense and explained his side of the story, and 3 years later, on January 27, 2023, he was granted a fresh start when he was acquitted by jurors of the murder charges. Just 3 days after his acquittal on January 30, 2023, shortly after 10 p.m. on a Monday, police were called to the 10,700 block of Pictorial Park Drive, inside the Easton Park subdivision, after a passerby saw a woman lying on the ground. Upon arrival, officers discovered the lifeless body of a woman lying next to her Ford EcoSport. Her 18-month-old son was sleeping in a car seat in the back seat of the vehicle. The woman was later identified as 22-year-old Alana Sims, and she was deceased from a gunshot wound to the head. Alana's death did not appear to be random, and investigators continued to follow up on multiple leads.
Tonight, we are learning more about this young mother. She was found murdered in New Tampa with her toddler sleeping in the car just a few feet away.
The mother of Elena Sims says she doesn't know why her daughter was in a New Tampa neighborhood miles away from where she lives. But Monday night, Tampa police found her there, the victim of murder. The family of Elena Sims says the 22-year-old was a loving mother who would help anyone.
She was a bright, wonderful person, willing to do anything for anybody.
Monday night, just after 10 p.m., Tampa police were called to this New Tampa neighborhood and found Sims dead at the scene. Just a few feet away, they found her infant son safely in his car seat.
Yes, he's perfectly fine. No harm was done to him. He's safe with us.
The family says the loss of Elena was even greater because she was pregnant.
Our son is our everything. And that she was pregnant again, and we just lost 2 souls, basically. 2 souls. But we got family here, we're together. And we're just gonna do this together.
And tonight, like many, they are wondering why Elena would come to this neighborhood miles away from where she lives.
And nobody really knows the answer to that question, only she does and God. But we'll get to the end of it. We'll get the resolution as soon as possible, hopefully sooner than later.
Alana's mother expressed that she wasn't aware of her daughter seriously dating anyone at the time of her death. She said she talked to her daughter the day before she was found deceased, and her daughter seemed fine. During their investigation, detectives discovered that Alana had a boyfriend, and his name was Billy Adams. They notified him that Alana was murdered, and they questioned him about his whereabouts at the time. He reportedly provided inconsistent statements, initially denying any knowledge of her death. Additionally, Billy claimed that he was not the father of the victim's unborn child and asserted that he had not interacted with or contacted her for several months. Furthermore, Billy informed detectives that he remained at home throughout the entire evening of January 30, 2023, and did not depart from the residence until the following day. Based on surveillance footage and records from the gated community, authorities assert that he used his father's vehicle on that evening. When confronted with this inconsistency, he allegedly claimed to have been out with friends and even provided a video as evidence. However, police stated that the footage had been manipulated to show the date of the murder, when in reality, it was recorded on February 1. Police further reported seizing Billy's phone, obtaining a search warrant, and uncovering his communication with a woman named LaKenya Brantley. They examined his iMessage conversations and discovered a potential motive for Billy to want Alana dead. In messages exchanged on January 29, 2023, Billy wrote, "Tomorrow this shit done." Other messages indicated Brantley's distress over the victim's pregnancy, while Billy expressed his desire to continue his life without including Alana. Brantley responded, stating, "This ain't the way, baby." Importantly, these messages occurred on January 29, 2023, and Alana was murdered the following day on January 30. Furthermore, a cell phone extraction of Billy's phone revealed a search for the Easton Park subdivision on January 30 at 6:43 p.m., the same location where Elena's body was found. Billy initially denied having any contact with Alana on January 30. Police confronted him with the contradictions in his statements, prompting him to eventually admit that he did indeed meet with her. According to authorities, he then claimed that he killed Alana in self-defense, just as he claimed in the double murder he was acquitted of prior. He claimed Alana had pulled a gun on him, and during their struggle, he shot her. However, when pressed to provide evidence supporting his account, he modified his statement. He then said that Alana initially brandished a gun, but he managed to disarm her. Subsequently, he shot her in the head, claiming it was an act of self-defense. When questioned about the whereabouts of the firearm, he stated that he discarded it while returning home after the shooting. Billy additionally acknowledged being aware of Alana's pregnancy and the potential possibility of being the father. Billy was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree.
From acquittal to arrest again, 9 days after Tampa rapper Billy Adams was found not guilty for a double murder, he's back behind bars tonight for 2 other deaths happening just days after he was set free by a jury. This is Nightside. I'm Carolina Lead.
And I'm Dave Wagner. Just hours ago, Tampa police arrested Adams. Tonight, 10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido explains why police say she may have been lured to her death.
Dave and Carolina, Tampa Police Department detectives are calling this case horrific. They say Tampa rapper Billy Adams admitted to pulling the trigger and killing 22-year-old Elena Sims, who was 5 months pregnant. They say he's shown no remorse.
It's not an easy thing to process.
9 days ago, Elena Sims' family was asking why.
So we don't really know why she was in that area.
But the arrest of Tampa rapper Billy Adams, also known as Ace NH, is bringing answers.
He did not want to be in her life anymore.
Tampa police detectives say Sims and Adams were known to each other. The 22-year-old was 5 months pregnant with a child she said was his.
Was not ready to, have a child.
That's the motive the 25-year-old gave police. Billy Adams, arrested at his parents' New Tampa home, now charged with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder and 1 count of death of an unborn child.
A dead mother that's 22 years old with a 18-month in the car, feet from her body for a matter of for some time before she was discovered. It's awful.
Elena's family says she would have been 23 just a few weeks after she was murdered.
Didn't deserve for this to happen to her the way that it did.
3 days prior to her death,
the defendant is not guilty.
A sigh of relief from Adams after a jury believed his testimony, saying he shot 2 people at a home recording studio in self-defense.
I pulled out my gun and I shot Mr. Alberry in fear of Mr. Beast getting shot or myself getting shot.
Acquitted of double murder charges, detectives say Elena was made to think she would be going to a party to celebrate his freedom. She was found dead 8 miles away from the location she was told to go.
It does seem to us like she was lured there.
Billy is currently
I can't even watch it because of the fact that this man got off. He got off on 2 deletions. He was able to get off. And 9 days later, he go to delete 2 other people. His ex-girlfriend, or at that time girlfriend, and his unborn child. His unborn child. Because he didn't want to have a baby. Because he didn't want her in his life. I totally don't understand that. Okay, so I'm just going to say, ladies, young ladies, really, really start in this days and times, modern dating, situationships, side pieces, whatever. That has, like, you can't be that in these times. These men and some of these women are unhinged when it comes to these relationships and when it comes to just being connected with somebody. It's like really weird to me. I don't even have the words for it. But they're taking like the domestic situation to a different level, which is called DV. So if y'all hear me say that, y'all know what that means. That's helpful. All right, so we're gonna we already know what happened to him, and he's gone for a long time. But like I said, you can always go to Viral Crimes, Twisted Crimes, which is the same, and it's in my link, in my YouTube, in Black Girl and Lost, and Leah Gordon, which is also linked in on my YouTube page. Okay. All right. So the next one, I think this might be Renetta. Yeah, this is the Renetta situation. Her name is Renetta Williams, and she was dating somebody way older than her. I think she was still in her 20s, if I'm not mistaken. And she was dating an older man who was very controlling. And he unalived her on Facebook or IG, one of them. So we'll check this out.
Williams was a well-known interior designer and mother of 3 from the Shreveport, Louisiana neighborhood of Caddo Heights. Her friends and family characterized her as a cheerful and well-liked individual. Her clientele adored her, and she was very skilled at her profession. According to them, her one flaw was that she shared too much on social media, particularly Facebook. Renetta was similarly unafraid to speak her thoughts, and it would be one of the posts she made online that would be the start of a series of events that would lead to one of the most shocking crimes many in her close community and many online viewers would ever witness. Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more stories. Jonathan Robinson was Renetta's significant other. He was raised in Shreveport, Louisiana, but just relocated to Houston, Texas. Everyone in Renetta's life first saw Jonathan as a father figure for Renetta's 3 children. Jonathan could also be possessive, and he disliked Renetta's willingness to stand up to him.
Women are the winners.
I ain't gonna say all men and women. I'm gonna say me and my winning though.
Okay, well 10 dudes winning. Okay.
Like a mother.
Let them tell it.
Yeah, we winning.
Yeah, let y'all tell it.
We don't know how to lose. We don't even take losses good. And nothing. I mean that, nothing.
But anyway, y'all know what it here for, women. We already know what it here for.
What?
Okay. Nothing. What?
Exactly.
To be unsaid.
Nothing.
To be on top.
Exactly, nothing.
To be on top.
What you got to tend to? You done. Game over.
Renetta and Jonathan continued a long-distance relationship, although Renetta saw that Jonathan had other romantic interests. He was seeing a lady called Sharika in Houston, and he didn't conceal it. There were occasions when Jonathan would leave early to return to Sharika, and Renetta had grown tired of it. In the autumn of 2017, she ended a relationship to Jonathan. After her breakup with Jonathan, Renita decided to attend a friend's birthday party and enjoy her newfound independence. During her outing, she encountered a guy who knew her cousin Trina. Trina characterized the guy as a decent individual, and soon Renita had a new boyfriend. Renita went public with her new romance, but she did it with caution. Jonathan was from Shreveport, and he was unhappy with her dating a new guy, despite his ability to date many women simultaneously. While she was out with her new boyfriend, Jonathan had spies text and phone her. In February of 2018, Renita headed out with her buddies and announced on Facebook where they were. Seeing Renita out with her friends having a great time at the club, Jonathan showed up to the same club. When Jonathan arrived at the club, he grabbed her by the neck. Jonathan's criminal history included assault and domestic violence. When he was denied what he desired, he would respond violently. In March of 2018, Shurika began discussing Renita online. She advised her not to interact with Jonathan, since he was hers. Renita wished to defend herself, so she went live on Facebook to discuss how Jonathan was still attempting to reconnect with her. Jonathan saw this, and since Renita had the courage to stand up to him, he intended to punish her. Renita, her brother, and their mother Anita were all present at home on April 12, 2018. After arriving at the house, Jonathan banged on the door and forced it open. He instantly threatened them with a rifle while brandishing it. Jonathan was informed by Anita that she would be contacting the police. That is when Jonathan fired a shot at Anita's head that narrowly missed her. She managed to get away and quickly go to the neighbor's home to make a 911 call. Renita was instructed by Jonathan to go on Facebook Live and make apologies to Shurika. Because her account was suspended by Facebook once again, Renita had to use her brother's Facebook account. Said Renita, "Hey y'all, this is Nunu, I didn't have any business doing all that. My page been blocked." Jonathan is seen walking back and forth while carrying a shotgun. Eventually, Jonathan shot Renita in the knee and shouted, "Now apologize B." Renita apologized to Shurika. Following Renita's apology, her brother was able to flee uninjured. Jonathan shot Renita 4 times and shouted, "B, game over and B wanna be famous, I'll make her famous." While all of this was occurring, the police came and they engaged in an hour-long standoff with Jonathan. He fired several bullets at the outside cops. Eventually, he emerged after conversing with Shurika on the telephone. She urged him to drop the weapon and exit the room.
Tonight's top story, a bizarre scene played out in court today as the man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend on Facebook Live had to be tackled by several deputies. NBC6's Zyneria Bird was in the courtroom this morning and joins us now in studio control with details of what happened. Zyneria.
Jackie, during testimony today, Jonathan Robinson started yelling and cursing at his lawyer and even at one point jumped up out of his seat and was tackled by sheriff deputies. It happened while a homicide detective was giving an in-depth testimony of what happened on April 12th in the killing of Renita Williams. The detective said Robinson told him that he killed Williams after forcing her to get on Facebook Live and apologized to his current girlfriend for making fun of her. Court resumed after the outburst, and Renita Williams' family was in court and they were very emotional hearing the testimony, and the judge ruled that there is enough evidence to try Robinson for second-degree murder, and Jonathan Robinson will be back in court for his arraignment on June 19th. Back to you.
All right, very bizarre. Thank you very much.
Jonathan was arrested for second-degree murder, but he said he should have been charged with first-degree murder. In the past, Jonathan faced legal issues. He has previously been charged with second-degree murder, armed robbery, battery, domestic violence, and assaulting a police officer, among other offenses.
The man accused of killing his ex-girlfriend on Facebook Live changes his plea to guilty today. NBC6's Delano Henry joins us now live from the Caddo Parish Courthouse with more. Delano?
That's right, Jackie. Everybody in the courtroom was in tears today as Jonathan Robinson apologized to the mother of the victim, Renita Williams.
Live on what's the phone? No.
This was Renita Williams on Facebook Live just moments before her Facebook friends witnessed her life being taken. It happened back in April of 2018.
I don't have to worry about it no more. My baby can rest. It's just over with and I'm glad.
And her mother, Anita, is relieved the man accused of killing her daughter is pleading guilty.
This has been the longest months of my life.
37-year-old Jonathan Robinson is Williams' ex-boyfriend. He initially entered a plea of not guilty to first-degree murder and several counts of attempted first-degree murder of police officers. According to the district attorney, 2 of them even came close to dying.
The officer who actually was shot And the first officer who drove up to the scene of the crime, who thankfully she stopped short, because if she had driven all the way up to the house, she would have been killed.
The district attorney tells NBC6 News before talking with Renita's mother, he did seek the death penalty.
But based on my conversations with her, I was willing to back off if he pled.
So at the end of the day, the decision that was made was my decision. We feel a lot better. It hurts me. It hurts me so bad. By killing Jonathan, it's not going to bring Renita back. None whatsoever. So
Robinson also pled guilty to all of the other charges, and he faces life in prison without parole. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, so she decided not to move forward with the D penalty. What do you guys think? Would you have continued and moved forward with the D penalty, unaliving him because of, what he did? Or because of the fact that he decided to plead guilty and apologize, you would let it go and just let him serve time? What are your thoughts on that? I'm interested in knowing, because I don't have children, so I don't know like how that would feel as a mother to have to make that decision. But if, especially for people, if you have like a child, what would you have done? So that situation to me was more of him being in a relationship with a younger woman to be able to control and manipulate her, but seeing that that young woman was not that type of woman. She wasn't just going to be docile and allow him to make her a side piece, whether they were long distance or whatever it may have been. And she decided to call him out, and he probably was, that probably was his full-time woman that he had in Texas. But he was, you know how they be, oh, but we not together and all of that. But she probably just called him out, and that's pretty much what the commentator said anyway. And but for him to like do all of that to make her apologize, he drove all the way to a whole different state, did a home invasion to make her apologize to a woman that he's dealing with. Okay. Whatever happened to the brother after he left? Just asking. Okay. Yeah, that was a little rough. I think, let's see what this next one is. I can't remember what this one is that I'm going to show. Let's just check it out.
Florida, where an arrest has been made in the shooting death of an Ocala mother.
Okay, so this is the update for AJ Chantel Owens, everybody. So this situation is ongoing right now, and this one is about the African American lady who had kids that was playing in the field, and the Caucasian lady who is considered the grumpy old lady in the neighborhood, don't like children. She was upset, and she I think had yelled at the kids and then said some racial things, and I think she kind of threw something at them, and then the one of the kids went to the mother, and the mother came over and asked her to come outside, and she never even opened her door, and she shot through the door. and they were going to try to say that that was stand your ground. They were going to fight for that, but they already seen what was about to happen and what was about to come. So now this is the update to that, which I think that she got arrested. So let's check this out.
Mother of four, Susan Lawrence was arrested and charged with multiple counts, including manslaughter for the fatal shooting of her neighbor, A.J. Owens, following a dispute last Friday. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says Lawrence became upset over Owens' children playing in a nearby field. When Owens went to knock on her front door, Lawrence allegedly shot through the door, killing Owens. The mother of A.J. Owens, Pamela Diaz, spoke with MSNBC last hour.
As a mother, as a grandmother, the grief, the pain that I am bearing, watching my grandchildren go through this, words can never, never explain how I feel and how my babies feel, how AJ's babies feel.
Joining us now is NBC anchor Lindsay Reiser. Lindsay, what more do we know about the sheriff's decision to file charges?
Well, Jose, we know that they were able to talk to eyewitnesses who only came forward yesterday about what happened. They also interviewed Owen's children. Finally, they had specialists do that, and they did arrest her. And Susan Lawrence was booked into jail at 4:25 this morning. Lawrence also was interviewed by detectives, and she told them she had become angry over time at Owen's children. They were playing in that field near the apartment complex. Neighbors told our Joy Reid last night that this woman has a history of antagonizing and yelling at the neighborhood children. Lawrence, according to police, according to detectives, threw a roller skate at one of Owen's children, hitting his toe. Remember that civil rights attorney Ben Crump also says she yelled racial slurs at the children. The children, we're told, left something in that field, an iPad or some sort. They went to Lawrence's home to try and retrieve it. That is when detectives say Lawrence swung an umbrella at them. The children went home, told their mother, A.J. Owens. She came to try and talk to Lawrence at her home. According to detectives in the family, she knocked on the door, asked for her to come out, and Lawrence shot through her door, striking Owens in the chest and ultimately killing her. Lawrence says that she did this in self-defense. She said that Owens had previously attacked her. We have not been able to corroborate that. But we do know that Lawrence was arrested. She was charged with manslaughter, punishable offense in the first degree by 30 years, also charged with negligence, battery, and 2 counts of assault. And the sheriff talked about the stand your ground law and how that comes into play. This is what he said.
It does not apply in all situations. And this situation is a prime example of when it was not justified. It was simply a killing.
Lawrence is expected to make her first court appearance likely tomorrow. She's undergoing medical testing now, and attorney Ben Crump in our last hour, Jose said.
Okay, Ben Crump, he should be tired because he is everywhere. Do you hear me? Like, is there any more leaders that's attorneys that actually care about cases like this, that jumps on the front line? Because, you know, a lot of people give him a lot, they call him an ambulance chaser and, you know, be saying all of this stuff about him, but he do be taking these hard cases though, and he do take cases. Even if he is an opportunist or whatever, the majority of the cases that he's taken, the families have gotten something out of it. And that's what matters. The families have been, I mean, you know, you can never bring back, like, the most important thing is the human life of, you know, someone, but they have been rewarded or something, some kind of way. He's really big on that. He doesn't and if you see his social media page on IG, you can tell that he be in front of it. He definitely be in front of it. So I'm not even gonna talk about him because I was gonna be funny and petty, but honestly, he's always there. And this was one of them situations where I'm glad that he was there, because when I was watching the first clips, when it first happened, the way that they were acting, they were trying to act like it was stand your ground and all of that. But there's no way. First off, we already know what stand your ground is about. So we gonna leave that alone. But that definitely was not the case. This next one is going to be extremely hard. Well, they all are hard, but this one, her name is Amaya Carey, and she was 19 years old. She had a homegirl who was 19 years old, and they were like, I guess her homegirl was like dating somebody older, like 36 or something like that. And he had a friend that was just, the same age as him. And, and that's another story. So I'm gonna leave that alone. But woo, when I say creep, creep. So anyway, they were supposed to be her friends, I guess. I guess they all were her friends. But they wanted to do a threesome and she wasn't down with that. And so they unalived her because she didn't want to be sexually involved in a threesome. So that's what this story is about.
Threesome. And she didn't want to. And they started fighting her. She wanted to leave and they wouldn't let her leave.
Okay, all you got to do is stop that arguing. If you don't want me to go, just say you don't want me to go. That's all. You ain't got to pick a doggone argument. If you don't want me to go, just say it.
I don't want you to go.
Don't matter, because I'm still going. You can put your lips in.
This is the story of Amaya Carey, aged 19, who was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, shot multiple times and thrown out of the car into the woods by 3 people who were supposed to be her friends. This all happened because she decided not to have threesome with her friends, namely DeWitt Anderson, age 34, Cedric Banks, age 37 and Kamia Blackman, age 19. It was a really brutal crime to the young mother who was declared missing before she was finally found in the woods. It took more than a month for medical examiners to identify Amaya Carey's remains after she was found. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
Police are investigating after a woman is found dead with multiple gunshot wounds. Now 3 people have been arrested and charged with capital murder, and charges are now being considered.
This story will be taking us to Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi is a vibrant city located in the heart of the Deep South, home to many cultural attractions such as the Mississippi Museum of Art and the Old Capitol Museum. This city was named after Andrew Jackson, a renowned general who went on to become the 7th President of the United States. Amaya Carey was born on February 6, 2003 in Jackson, Mississippi to Shay Carey and Ricky Ellis. Amaya attended Murray High School and had a passion for hairdressing. Whoever knew Amaya knew she was kind, loving, caring, warm, smart, awesome and wonderful. She had a tremendous passion for hairdressing and was a constant source of optimism. She had a boyfriend who she frequently posted on social media. They showed affection towards each other and were looking forward to a better life together. According to her friends, they were inseparable, they loved each other and everything was going very well for them. Extended that act to her very good friend Kamia Blackman. On February 15th, Amaya was picking up her friend Kamia Blackman, age 19, who was with her boyfriend, DeWitt Anderson, age 34. They went to several locations that night, and at one of them, Blackman, Anderson, and Anderson's brother, Cedric Banks, age 37, who joined the group at a point, all tried to have threesome with Amaya, which she refused. Then they started fighting her and would not let her leave. They kept trying to convince her to let them have their way with her, but she turned them down repeatedly, making things escalate. At this point, Amaya and Kamia started fighting, which made DeWitt Anderson, her boyfriend, pull out a gun. He did not hesitate in shooting Amaya, who didn't die but was severely injured. The trio then placed the injured Amaya in a car where she was sexually assaulted by one of them while the car was in motion. Police in their investigation did not know for sure if Amaya was still alive when she was assaulted in the car. After they got satisfied, they then drove into the woods where they threw her body out of the car and then shot her 2 more times before driving away. Cedric Banks was the one who pulled the trigger this time. Amaya would be declared missing, and the investigation started by talking to her family members. Luckily, some family members were able to tell the cops that the trio were the last people seen with her. This was how the investigation started, and it all pointed at the trio. Police were able to find her body after many more investigations.
3 are facing capital murder charges after one teenager was sexually assaulted and killed back in February. Police just now being able to identify the victim. Jackson police found a body on Forest Avenue Extension near Clay Street on February 15th. The female victim was discovered dead with 3 gunshot wounds. She was identified last Thursday by the Hines County medical examiner as 18-year-old Amia Carey. The next day, officers were able to identify the people she spent her last minutes with.
After positively identifying all of the criminals, the police went ahead to arrest and charge them with the crime. On March 30th, Kamia and DeWitt were called in for questioning, and they eventually described the events of the evening to investigators.
Arrest 3 people for their connection to an alleged murder in the capital city. The gruesome killing claimed the life of an 18-year-old mother. Our Quentin Smith joins us in the studio now with details.
Yeah, Maggie, the victim has been identified as Amaya Carey. On February 15th, police say she was shot, kidnapped, and left for dead. On your screen right here are the 3 suspects: 34-year-old DeWitt Anderson, 19-year-old Kamaya Blackman, and 37-year-old Cedric Banks. Now, according to investigators, Carey was going to pick up Blackman, who was with her boyfriend, Anderson. Police say they went to several locations that night, and at one of the stops, Blackman, Anderson, and Banks all tried to have sex with Carey. Investigators say the 18-year-old refused and got into a fight with Blackman. Police describe what happened after that. Take a listen.
They want to have a threesome, and she didn't want to, and they started fighting her. She wanted to leave, and they wouldn't let her leave. Camellia Blackman was assaulting her, and so her boyfriend picked up a gun and shot her. She was severely wounded. They placed her in a car, and as they was driving to Forest Avenue where they dumped the body, they had sex with her in the car. At that location, after they put her out of the car, they shot her. It was told during our investigation that she was shot twice again, 2 more times, and her body was left there on scene on Forest Avenue near Clay.
Jackson police say they don't know if the teenager was dead or alive when she was assaulted in the vehicle.
Amaya's body was identified more than a month after her body was discovered.
Carey's body was found along Forest Avenue near Clay Street, where officers say the suspects dumped her after sexually assaulting her.
Investigators believe the female suspect, Kamia, and Amaya knew each other very well and had planned a threesome sexual encounter involving Kamia and DeWitt, but things most likely changed when suddenly Cedric Banks appeared in the picture.
She was kidnapped. She was trying to leave. She was Camellia Blackman and her boyfriend. They was fighting because they was trying to have sex with her, and she didn't want to have it.
It was a shock to hear that they would shoot her for that, and also a major shock that one of them would sexually assault her in the car after she had been shot in the apartment, plus shooting her twice more after she was thrown out of the car. A very twisted crime all in all. Kamia Blackman, 19, DeWitt Anderson, 32, and Cedric Banks, 36, were arrested in late March. Each suspect is charged with capital murder in connection with Amaya Carey's death. All 3 suspects are currently being held without bond.
Her loved ones just now receiving justice for what happened. Some police found a body with multiple gunshot wounds on 4th Avenue Extension in the middle of February. That person was later identified at the end of March as 18-year-old Amaya Carey. A friend of hers says how she reacted to the news of her friend's death.
I shut down, and I really didn't want to keep going through life, making through new friends, because it was like every time I made friends, something would happen to them. So I kind of gave up a little bit.
3 have been arrested and charged with capital murder by the Jackson Police Department. Deputy Chief Derek Hearn said last week investigators were able to make the connection after family alerted them the last 2 people Amaya was seen with was 2 of those 3.
They was the last one that was seen with her, and so that's where our investigation started.
Now her friends are left with the memories and final communications they had with Amaya.
The last time we was texting, communicating, I told her I loved her and to be safe, and she told me she loved me too, her and her baby.
We hope Amaya Carey gets the justice she deserves. This is a very sad and senseless crime which could have been totally avoided. A lovely and vibrant young mother who...
Okay. And she was actually 18. I thought she was 19. Her friend was 19. She was 18. She left behind a son. So the way that they were saying it was that, she was comfortable with her friend's boyfriend, but somebody else came into the picture and she wasn't comfortable. So I don't know, I don't want to speculate, but one of the roughest things to hear was when she was hit and they still assaulted her in the car. Like after they shot her. I just can't understand it. It's horrifying. And her friend definitely, like, you have to be careful, ladies. Be careful who you call friends. I'm looking dead in the camera now. Please be careful and pray about it. Anybody that's in my life or that has ever been in my life since I've become more spiritually grounded, I have prayed to make sure that they belong there. Now, I'm not talking about the passerbyers, the ones that you respect, you grew up with, but you guys just, you're not fully connected, but you still care. I'm talking about the ones that you allow into your home, you allow into your space, you converse with them on a daily, or you at least take time to contact them. Be careful, because it's showing premeditation. Like, it's showing friends premeditating ways to harm you. You know what I'm saying? They can be friends, they can pretend like they friends for a whole year, 2 years, but have an agenda. And it's sad. But the one thing that I will not do is I will not close my heart again. I am okay with being alone. I'm okay with, because I just keep it moving. But I will not close my heart again. And like I said, I just pray for discernment constantly. And that's a number one thing that I feel like everybody should do. You should definitely pray and really kind of know who you're allowing your space, who you're allowing to come into your space. But she was still learning, thriving, growing. She was still developing. And that's another thing. These creeps out here, they couldn't get away with half of the stuff that they do to these young women who is still learning and thriving and developing. All right. So this is an update on Ariana Preston. Now, this was very, like, man, when I was following this story, I was just like, this is such a beautiful woman. She was not just physically beautiful, but you can tell that she was exuding with a spiritual beauty. Like, you could tell that she had a anointing, a light on her. You could see it. And then for her to had just pretty much her mother had to go get her. She graduated, so her mother had to walk the stage for her because these monsters unalived her. They were going terrorizing people the whole night in different neighborhoods. She was coming home from work and she was a police officer, and they decided to do her like that. Um, and then what sucks is that the 911 call, and it was pretty much, it was just showing that the response times in neighborhoods is not good, and they had to pretty much let the 911 dispatcher know, hey, this is a police officer, in order for people to come out quick as they needed to. It shouldn't have to take that. But a lot of these stories too, you can see a lot of holes in the government system when it comes to the law and when it comes to legalities, like the way that they treat uh, women who are going through DV, domestic partnerships and situations, 911 calls in neighborhoods. Like, it's so many different things that you could see when you and you notice when you're hearing these stories, and then they start to discuss the legalities of it, and like allowing some of these monsters to get out and be acquitted or be this and that. There's a lot of changes that have to happen in the law. I'm gonna be honest, like, we still are governing this country with laws from way back in the 1800s, and we are now in 2023. So there should be some type of changes that is happening. Yeah, there's bills that went through, and that helps with changes, but just this entire system needs to be deconstructed. But that's another situation. Don't get me started. And listen, like I said, y'all don't have to watch all of this if you want. This is for people who are totally interested in this series and want to see the entire series, regardless if it take an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. You're engaged for a reason, and those are the people that I'm connecting to. So if it's only 2 or 3 people that watch this and show love, then that's what it is. But at the end of the day, this is something that I need to get off my chest, me being a Black woman, and a single Black woman, living in a big city. I'm learning things as well on how to keep myself protected, you know. And I thank God for constantly being there for me, to be able to protect me and guide me and give me, the wisdom to be able to bring the right people around me, and to let go of the wrong people. Okay. So let's get to it, shall we?
I'm Nate Rogers at 26 in California, outside of the Layton Criminal Courthouse, where the mother of fallen Chicago police officer Ariana Preston came face to
And for some reason, this his audio is a little low, so it's not me, it's him.
Face again with her daughter's alleged killers today in court. The mother, I'm speaking briefly to reporters, simply asking the question, why were these suspects out of jail in the first place? Now, Officer Preston's family left the courthouse dressed in gold sweatshirts which read, "Peace for Preston." They were accompanied by dozens of uniformed Chicago police officers. Today, a grand jury indicted 19-year-olds Travell Breland and Joseph Brooks, 18-year-old Jaquan Buchanan, and 16-year-old Jalen Frazier, who is being charged as an adult, all of them facing first-degree murder charges. Officer Preston was killed outside her South Side home last month in what prosecutors say was a robbery attempt. The suspects are charged with robbing 5 others before getting to Preston. All of the men have extensive criminal backgrounds. Preston's mother today not holding back, calling for accountability on all levels.
It's nice to get letters from the president, and it's nice for the mayor to say things about Ariana in his speech, but we need action. We need tougher laws. We need people to stand up. We need people to raise their kids correctly. We need parents to be accountable for their kids' actions. And most importantly, we need justice for Ariana.
Now, Officer Ariana Preston's birthday is tomorrow. She would have turned 25 years old. She was assigned to CPD's 5th District. I'm also a 3-year veteran of the force. Now, in terms of those suspects, all facing a myriad of charges, the 16-year-old is due back in court tomorrow. The 3 others are due back in court on June 15th. Outside the Layton Criminal Courthouse, I'm Nate Rogers, Fox 32, Chicago.
Her birthday was the other day. I'm so sorry to hear that. Man, her mother had to be in court for her birthday. She had to go and walk to get her certificates and her honors and everything from her graduating from college. Oh, man, it sucks. So guys, I just want to say that I appreciate you bearing with me during this. And we do have, let me see, we have 2 more to go. And the next one, let me open this real quick. I hate that I can't see the names. Oh, the next one is the Cabo 6, and then after that, Janiyah Thompson, which is something new. But the Cabo 6, because I know everybody knows about this, has finally got some type of street justice. So I'm just going to let you see it. I'm not even going to talk. Now, everybody know this story about Shanquella Robinson. If you don't, please, they'll kind of do a small backstory on it, but definitely do some digging and some research on this if you haven't heard about it. But I'm sure everybody know what this is. Okay, check it out.
Well, it looks like the streets are finally taking things into their own hands because the Cabo 6 just got jumped on the streets of North Carolina. Now, this happened because people are frustrated about how the authorities are handling the case, and the streets are angry. But what does this mean for the Cabo 6, and why on earth are the authorities not charging the Cabo 6? So it looks like the streets are taking things into their own hands regarding Shanquella Robinson's case. It has almost been 7 months since Shanquella was unalived by her so-called friends while they were on holiday in Mexico, but there has been no justice for her. Now, for a quick recap, Shanquella took a group vacation to Cabo, Mexico with people she believed were her friends, but things got really bad really quickly. For one, it was so clear that she was the odd one out because there was a video of her friends gathered behind her back at the resort, and it looked like they were plotting against her.
Keep it hot, what?
They, what the old said, they crew.
The one that's like mediocre is in my check-ins. I can't remember.
But it gets even worse because the concierge at the resort confirmed that they treated her like an outcast. He said, "She seemed to not fit in with the others. When I introduced myself, she did not greet me or smile. She was indifferent, having nothing to do with the atmosphere of the celebration. She was out of place at that party." He also revealed what the Cabo Six did after Shanquella was pronounced dead. He said, "I left that area and stayed outside the main entrance to give them space to mourn and grieve. Minutes later, I heard laughter. Well, they called her mother to inform her that Shanquella had passed away, but they lied and said that she had died from alcohol poisoning."
So when they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
And this turned out to be a big lie because her autopsy report listed her cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlantoaxial subluxation. That's a condition where unstable or excessive movement is present in the first two vertebrae of the neck, and it suggested that Shanquella had been the victim of a physical attack. And this made sense because the video that went viral on social media showed where Dejanay Jackson was beating Shanquella up while the rest of the Cabo Six watched. Now, I'm not gonna play the video because it's just a lot, but I'm sure most of y'all have probably seen it by now. Her dad spoke to TMZ about how he felt about her murder, and it was just heartbreaking.
I'm just angry, hurt, sad, all in one, man.
So then the Mexican authorities took the case really seriously and they announced that they were treating the case as a femicide. They also released a statement saying, "This case is fully clarified. We even have a court order. There is an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide to the detriment of the victim and against an alleged perpetrator, a friend of her who is the direct aggressor. Actually, it wasn't a quarrel, but instead a direct aggression. We are carrying out all the pertinent procedures such as the Interpol alert and the request for extradition to the United States of America. It's about two Americans, the victim and the culprit." At this point, it was starting to seem like the Mexican authorities were taking this case more seriously than the American authorities. The FBI announced that they were investigating the case and there were high hopes that Shanquella's family would have justice. The hopes got even higher when it was announced that Mexican authorities had filed a motion to have a suspect extradited to Mexico to face charges. But then the US authorities were kinda dragging their feet on the case, leading Shanquella's family to write them an open letter where they openly named the suspect that Mexican authorities had. The letter said, "The viral video showing Shanquella being beaten in the villa while naked by one of 6 travel mates who was identified by a witness as Dejanay Jackson." The letter continued, "As a result of the investigation, a warrant was issued for Dejanay Jackson by Mexican law enforcement, one of the 6 travel mates who fled to the United States after Shanquella was pronounced. Miss Jackson was identified as the perpetrator of femicide against Shanquella Robinson, a homicide based on gender. If a United States citizen commits homicide in Mexico and returns back to the United States, as you are aware, they can face criminal charges in the United States under federal law or state law, depending on the circumstances of the crime." But then the United States authorities shocked everyone when they announced that they would not be filing any charges against the Cabo Six because there wasn't enough evidence. Even worse, there was no word on whether or not they were going to agree to extradite them to Mexico, especially Dejanay Jackson. This caused a lot of outrage online because there was nothing we could do but get really mad at the authorities. When asked about the extradition request, the Department of Justice released a statement saying, "The U.S. Department of Justice generally does not confirm, deny, or otherwise comment on the existence or non-existence of requests for apprehension from foreign governments. When an extradition request is made, that's simply asking the jurisdiction that receives the request for the police to pick this person up and turn them over to us." At this time, people had already lost faith in the system. They were accusing the DOJ of not being transparent about the process. It was even worse because the Mexican authorities had already concluded their investigation and allegedly ruled it as a homicide. Even more, they believed that they had more than enough evidence to charge the Cabo Six, especially Dejanay, with the murder. Well, people had finally had enough of the U.S. authorities and they decided to take things into their own hands. According to the people in the know, the Cabo Six had gone about their merry lives in North Carolina.
Okay. Whoa. Okay, guys. I just experienced some really bad technical difficulties. I don't know what just happened, but I'm gonna leave that video alone because something just happened, and I'm just gonna remove it from the studio. Um, Hopefully we're back on. Testing, yes, okay. I think we're back. So pretty much you got the gist. They went through the backstory for those who don't understand and know what happened with Shanquilla and the Cabo 6 situation. Um and a lot of people was just kind of happy to see that they decided to they pretty much decided to um you know, get some street justice. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally have been waiting to be able to do that. So let me see, because of the technical issues, let me see if I can add this last video, which I just got today. I think this is a new one that just happened on June 1st. Janiyah Thompson, she went missing, and I forgot what city she is in, but let me see if this one is show. If not, then I'll come back and we'll just kind of like have a discussion and close out. Let's check it out. Let's see.
You know, I love her. Her mother
Okay.
loves her. Her brothers and sisters love her. Her aunts and
Oh,
uncles, everybody care about her. We
nope.
all love you. We just want you to come home.
Okay. Hold on. For some reason, that's extremely weird. Don't tell me. Boy, I tell you, I'm so tired of YouTube, Facebook. If they did something to my videos, I am so damn tired of them. But all right. So I'll just discuss it. So the young lady name is Janiyah Thompson, and she actually came up missing. I do believe June the 1st. I forgot what city and state she was in. I want to say Maryland, but I don't remember 100% remember. So her father is just pleading with people to kind of just, wait, I probably can. Let me see. Let me see if I just re-add it, if that helps. Because this one is fresh off the
We just want her to
press.
come
There we
home. You
go.
know, I love her. Her mother loves her. Her
Okay.
brothers and sisters love her. Her aunts and uncles, everybody care about her. We
We'll
all
end
love
with
her.
this one.
We just want you to come home.
18-year-old Janiyah Thompson was last seen on April 24th at the Naylor Road Metro Station after informing her older brother that she was headed to take care of something. She hasn't been seen or heard from since. Janiyah attends Eastern Senior High School in Washington, D.C., where she is a junior and a participant in the ROTC program. According to her family, it is completely unlike Janiyah to go without contacting them, leaving them to believe that something terrible has happened. What concerned them the most is that Janiyah is without her medications, making this situation even more devastating. She is 5'4", weighs between 120 to 130 pounds, and was last seen wearing a pleated skirt, a black long-sleeve shirt, pink glasses, white socks, black and white chucks, and a baby blue zip-up jacket with the word pink on the front.
Prince George's County tonight. A family is desperately searching for a teen girl who's been missing for more than a month. 18-year-old Janiyah Thompson is a student at Eastern Senior High School. News 4's Amy Cho has more on the family's plea for answers.
We are here at the Naylor Road Metro Station. This is the last place 18-year-old Janiyah Thompson was seen over a month ago on April 24th. She told her older brother she was headed off to take care of something, and she hasn't been heard from since. Janiyah's family tells News 4 it's extremely unlike her to not contact them, and they worry something bad has happened.
We haven't heard a word or haven't heard anything, so it's definitely devastating.
Her dad says she's a junior at Eastern Senior High School and is part of the ROTC program. Her family is also concerned because she needs medications.
We just want her to come home, I love her, her mother loves her, her brothers and sisters love her, her aunts and uncles, everybody care about her. We all love her. We just want you to come home.
Janiyah's dad says they filed a missing persons report with the Prince George's County Police Department. But he says officers told them they can only do so much because Janiyah is technically an adult at 18.
That's traumatizing as well. So it's just like, it's almost feel like they don't care.
News 4 reached out to the police department for comment and to try to get an update on the search efforts. We have not yet heard back.
On June 1st, 37 days after Janiyah Thompson was reported missing, Janiyah was honored during the JROTC ceremony at Eastern Senior High School, where her family was present to accept her honor and stand in support of her. They want Janiyah to know that they are continuing to pray for her safe return home and are encouraging anyone who knows or sees anything to say something. The case remains ongoing.
Okay. Yeah. So sad, and she was so young. So guys, I know that I had a lot of information, but I need you guys to know that this is sorry. When it comes to really trying to push hard to connect with our brothers and our children out here, and just create a more harmonious culture. It's not, like I said before in one of my shows, it's not going to be easy because we have been pulled away for so long, but we can do it. So I'm just asking you guys to support me by taking the time to do the research with a lot of these clips and taking the time to educate if you are like an educator or if you are someone who is a mentor, part of the village, or just, being a mother or a father. Take the time to kind of like watch some of these clips with your children or with the teens, the young adults that's in your life. Ask them questions. Learn from a lot of these situations on how to protect yourself and others and the people around you that you care about. And let me see, I want to pull up before we call it a day. Let me see if I can pull up those statistics one more time to show you again. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So here we go. I just want to share this with you again. I want you to read this. I'm just going to give you some time to look at it.
See, I grew up with something, but still can tell me nothing. Yo, the money is my so all season I'm cuffing. But gotta play my hand for any reason, it's no bluffing. I drive through 24 just to take the stuff and not your Egg McMuffin. Cause they hanging with a jury, they'll try you quick. Or niggas that get bitch Tennessees and ride you. And snitch your enemies, look, just sliding slick. Anybody will tell you when they call me, I ain't confiding. Yeah, cause where I come from, that's a no-no. Might just have to break in the dough big, waving the fofo. If I was coming in hot, it was all for the cocoa. Word, I had to flip it to the very last bird, dodo. Whoa, mercy, mercy me. mercy me. Oh, things ain't what they used to be.
Okay. So I just wanted to kind of like show you guys once again those statistics. I'll take them off now. I hope you were able to understand that and see that and absorb that for the beginning of the show as well as the end of the show, because I will be continuing to show those through the series. And we will be having 10 clips. So it will be at least lasting from an hour to 30 to 2 hours. And it's up to you on when you want to watch this, when you can. I may just go ahead and do recordings instead of creating a live show and just doing it that way. The only reason that I did the live show is because I thought that people would want to jump on and kind of like, you know, kind of connect on this, but I don't think that people are ready for that. So I'm just going to just do recordings and not do live shows for this series. All right. And I guess that's it. The next one will be not, well, you'll see it, but it'll be not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, which will be, I'll be having it posted, but it'll be the 21st of June, which is the next date for This Is Insane. And I'll pretty much be having that posted. Also, we do have me and hopefully some young men who are interested in being a guest. We have Let's Whine About It on Saturday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. And let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see. Pull it up so you can. Oh, why? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what's wrong. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up. It's showing in the background. Okay, I'm going to take myself out of the equation. How about I do that? How about I remove myself so you can actually see? I guess it won't let me do it. But anyway, so it's June the... Okay, oh, there we go. All right, and I'm gonna have my homie Carlito. I was gonna put my theme song on This Is Insane theme song, but I want to give my boy Carlito 810 some shine. So this is his song Mercy that is playing in the background. And y'all just Have a good rest of the week. And thank you for watching. Love y'all. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Peace.
When we used to flex on them, they used to cower, left face with the cycles to draw curtains and then shower. I'm a real artist, call me Picasso, Waffle Gazy. South here, Donnie Brasco. And all these Lion Kings are just Simbas, while I've been Mufasa in the jungle just to lift them up, remember?